Welcome back. Another episode of Feed the Beast, Direwolf 20 pack, 1.6.4. What are we on? Version 1.0.9 of the pack at the moment. Seems to work good with all the multi-blocks and stuff, but a little bit of lag. But there's 1.10 or 1.0.10 and 1.0.11, so who knows. All right, so what do we want to do today? Well, got the AE system running, and that's great. And yeah, sure, I said I didn't want to do it, but I've changed my mind. It figures I do that. I'm going to try not to use the AE system for too much of the query processing, that kind of thing. And this has all been working fine, blah, blah, blah. Thaumcraft room, got some ideas for that, although I'm not quite ready for that. Let's take a look down here. What have we... Oh, I don't think I've shown this before. We have... Ooh, it's so dark in here. What we have here is a room for... what are they called? The oreberry bushes. So you can see that they grow down here, and they're freaking awesome. Because all they do is sit here and produce ores for me, which I love. So let's take that out. Oh, and then I broke the curtain. Blackout curtains are great, but they're really easy to put a torch down. Real easy to break. So what do I have here? I have the harvester pumping out to here. See, there's a lot of aluminum ore berries and some essence berries, but what have I done with the rest? Well, I've taken those retrieval nodes we were using before, and I've got tin coming out here, I've got copper coming out here, and I have iron coming out here. And then packaging them into actual bars of useful materials. Pretty straightforward, pretty cheap to do, and I kind of like it. So eventually I will tie this output chest straight into the AE system for storage. But for now, good way of keeping that stuff straightforward. This has gone through a little bit of a revamp. Before it was just a line of barrels with a bunch of item ducts. What I did figure out is once the system got full, those item ducts got really... they got all blocked up, and I'm not quite sure how to properly clear item duct blockage other than break that block and replace them and do all the filters again. So I used extra utilities transfer nodes to kind of straighten everything out here. So this is the lag, and it's the pulverizer that's creating sand. That sand goes to here for glass, goes underneath over to here for compressed sand, and then goes into this one for sandstone. Sandstone gets stored here. The excess, let's see here, the excess gravel from the furnace goes here and gets compressed, double compressed. Gravel and sand can be double compressed, so I did so that way these barrels don't fill up real quick. And these are just I can just use packages here because the only recipe for compressed is a 3x3 for double compressed. Over here, what do we got going here? This one is a furnace. This is making smooth stone, which goes out to let's see here. Goes to here. Nope. Goes to here for smooth stone, and also into here for stone bricks. Again, using the auto workbenches because you can specify the exact pattern so that way when they fill up, they don't, overflow. Although I guess I don't need it for that one. Anyway, and then this is the cobble compression line to create cobble all along the way. I think I'm up to triple compressed cobblestone here. And then lastly is the fluid transposer for creating the, whatever it's called, the mossy cobble. So it's a little more complicated now, but in some ways it looks a lot more straightforward. You can kind of follow the process path here a little bit better, which means that if it's time to change this up, it's going to be a lot easier. And along the way, I was using the micro parts to kind of block different pipes from interacting underneath here. Filled all the different pieces in. You can see there's a little micro block there that's dividing that path there from that path there. So they're actually so useful, but you just, have to have them working right. In this version of the patch, they are. Added some barrels over here because the melons are filling up real fast. Added some more storage for rubber because, oh my god, so much freaking rubber. I just got to leave this damn thing off now. I'm not sure if I showed that before. Yeah, rubber farm. These pipes, it looks like it's just a duplication of the setup. Actually, these pipes connect to each other, so the transfer nodes that are under the collection chests do actually interact all the way down the line here. And the reason I did that is because this harvester will take rubber, and the rubber one will take oak. So there's no isolation here, so they kind of do have to handle their own overflow into each other's inventories. So since we're using barrels for now and not something like AE, then made it a little more complicated, but basically it's just running under the floor here as an interaction. So pretty straightforward. All my animals are downstairs here. The sheep are slowly jumping up onto the grass and replenishing their wool, but don't really have much of a use for them right now. And that's pretty much about it. My berry walls are now almost completely grown. They take forever, and I hate them so much. And I'm still living off berry medleys, and I really don't want to. So, let's see here. What do we want to do today? Oh, I also raised the ceiling one more because the just the way that it was leveled out, the elevator shaft wasn't quite lined up in the same way as the lower floors, so I took care of it. See, 5. And this was 4. So I added one more level and moved all of this up one. Basically just used the builder's wand. Filled it in on top and then dug it out from below. Which is why some of the chests are in slightly different positions from last time. See, there you go. It's buried in the thing. But what do we want to do? Oh, yeah. And a lot of Enderman heads and creeper heads and even a pig head. Yeah. So, what are we going to do? I keep saying that. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, we are going to... I'm not going to do Thaumcraft yet because there's still a couple pieces I want to build first. I'm going to start my Tinker's Construct stuff because what I want to start smelting smooth glass for all of these open windows, which are currently open to the world but shouldn't be. So you see these are all meant to be windows, as well as the cobble that's out here was supposed to be smooth here to or smooth glass or whatever to create the illusion that we have a 6-story building when in fact we only have a 3-story building. So I'd rather get that going sooner than later, and then while I'm creating glass, move on to Thaumcraft, because eventually what I'm also going to need is the Wand of Equal Trade. But to start out with, you'll see I've got kind of laid out what I want to do here. I want to put in whatever that furnace thing is for Tinker's Construct. So let's go create it. Starting off, going to need some magma cream. Why? Well, because I'm going to... There's public lava on the server. We did that to help reduce lag. It is helping a little bit because we had a lot of what are they called? Thermiendic or endothermic pumps in the nether. Yes, I know words. Haha. Had a lot of endothermic pumps in the nether, and basically we had a parking lot. The damn things created a lot of lag and basically solidified most of the viewable nether. So we decided, you know what? We're resetting the nether every couple months anyway, and why don't we just provide free lava? Because everyone does it. So, the Ender tank white with no lock on it will give you free lava. Then again, I have vowed in my infinite stupidity and my intense hunger that I do not want to use lava or solar for any of my builds. So what does that mean? Well, that means that I am morally obligated to ignore the public lava. So we're going to use a lava fabricator. Now, I may immediately give up on this, depending on how much energy it takes to create lava. Then again, I don't see myself using this oven or this furnace that often, other than the glass. So it might actually be able to keep up with its own internal buffer, or maybe we could just have it run all the time. The idea is that we're going to power it off of the kind of spot powering that we've been doing with the dynamos with the coal. And actually, I'm not sure if I showed, before we get started there, I'm not sure if I showed the other part of, where am I going? The other part of my power system. Now, you've seen the coal distribution, but if you look in here, oh, all my aqueous accumulators, they're up here now. Why? Well, if we take a look at, where's one that's powered? In here. Let's take a look under here. You'll notice that the transfer pipe that has the coal in it comes to here, but there's no water. Why is there no water? Where's the aqueous accumulator? Well, I really hope I haven't explained this before, because then I'm kind of stepping on my own toes. But if we come up here into that same transfer node network, I put, and what this is a 1x3 source block of water with a liquid transfer node. A liquid transfer node, basically, if you place it face down, and to do that, you put a block down. Put your source blocks on either side, place the transfer node down on the block, and then break the block. And you get, it's basically its own pump, which is great. I really like that, actually. But what does it do? Well, I have maximum upgrade speed on here, so it just zips along that same coal line that we were using and replenishes the water in all these dynamos. And so far, it's been able to keep up. If it can't, I'll just add another one. So the theory is that all of these little spot powering that's happening, I've got one in the room over there. Each of these have one. And I was able to eliminate all of that source block water from everywhere, which wasn't necessarily a problem, but in a place like this where, because of the lobby, this floor is only 3 thick, we were getting drips coming out of the ceiling here. So hopefully that means that we're going to have, a good time. So I've already got the steam dynamo here ready to go. And as you can see, it stays filled with water. That's a graphical glitch. I'm not sure why that texture is loading in instead of actual steam. And it's fully powered, fully charcoaled, ready to go. That's the other thing, too. I put these little hollow covers down so instead of just completely hiding it, I don't have to worry about falling through when I walk on them. But I can still kind of, if I'm paranoid, I can kind of keep track of how my dynamos are doing, see if they're keeping up with the demand at the power. So anyway, lava fabricator. Let's see how well this works. So I'm just going to take this, and we're going to come back down here. And we're going to plop that down right here. Now what this does is it just builds up energy. And as it builds up energy, it creates lava. 20 millibuckets at a time. And it looks like it uses 4,000 RF per 20 millibuckets of lava. One would hope that's going to be enough to keep up with this. I might have to put a tank in here for a bit of a buffer, but who knows? Let's give it a shot. Let's see if it works. So how do these Tinker's Construct furnaces work? Well, you do it with grout. Grout is clay, sand, and gravel all mashed together, creates a couple grout. You can do it with a clay block, but I'm a little poor on clay right now, although my the sludge boiler is producing a lot of it, which I like. I still, though, there's a slightly different recipe for this. But, that's the easiest one. So you take the grout and you run it through a furnace and you get seared bricks. Seared bricks are used for pretty much every single piece of the Tinker's Construct furnace. So, first of all, I'm going to need some seared glass, which is, you don't really need it, but I kind of like to be able to see inside the furnace while we're working. And I've figured out that with the size I'm building, I'm going to need 7 of these. So I'll create 7. What do we have here? Smeltery controller. This is basically like the ME controller of what we were talking about, but for the furnace. It's it lets you access the interface of the smeltery. That's what it's called. It's not a furnace. It's a smeltery. So let's smelterize it up. That was terrible. I'm not going to say that again. Smeltery drain. I'm going to need a couple of those. That's how you get the liquid metals or whatever you've been cooking up in the smeltery out. So we're going to use that. We need a seared tank, which is what keeps the lava that powers the smeltery. We are going to need a couple of faucets, which attach to the drains. You can actually use pipes or whatever you want, but the faucets work well for early days. I'm going quick here because, I mean, a lot of people have done actual tutorials on how to do this. Casting table, used for creating molds for parts, for weapons, that kind of stuff, and for ingots, that kind of, all the pieces. The casting basin is for creating blocks of whatever liquid you've melted down in your smeltery. So that's why we need 2 of these, and one for each different type of output there, and a whole crap ton of seared bricks, because that's basically the rest of the structure. I'm also going to take a redstone clock, which is 4 stone, redstone torch, and 4 redstone. That will be important when we start making the glass, because these drains, or the faucets or whatever, they operate when you smack them with a redstone signal. So that becomes helpful if we want to automate the output. So what I can do is I can dump a bunch of sand into the smeltery, and it'll automatically eject it into blocks, which we will then use to make our base look pretty. So let's build some crap. What do I have here? This is just a hopper and a chest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that as, again, part of the glass producing fun. So, do I need I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's start with a base. The base is here, 3x3. Just drop it down, right? That's why you put it one lower, because the next step is we drop all of this down here. I got to remember how I was going to put the controller. I'm going to put the controller in the middle because I'm going to have benches on either side. I'm going to put the seared tank on top of the lava fabricator because, we want it to... See? And it's starting to fill up the seared tank, which is going to be very helpful because, you'd like to be able to use the lava. And I guess I don't need... Why did I not fill that in then? Don't need that. Bam. Okay, so now what else? Okay, this is oh no, we're missing fill in the base. Okay. So now this is a functioning smeltery. It's got room for 3x3 materials. But, that's not good enough. We want to do better than that. So what are we going to do? Well, let's make it taller. You can make it taller. So we're going to put a drain here and a drain here. And let's see here. Where are our seared glass? Put this, shift click. I'm going to put the seared glass here and on the back. Put one on the back just because, I like to still be able to see the whole thing, just to, come around back, whatever. Whatever, it looks fine. I like it. Shut up. You don't actually have to put in the roof either. You don't have to close in the top at all. But I'm going to. Why? Because I like things to look nice. That's why I have the lighting pumpkin there. So, we're just going to fill in the rest of this structure. Nothing too particularly fancy about it. You just need crap tons of seared brick. So much freaking seared brick. I calculated it out ahead of time. Hopefully, I have enough. Da. So now we have a 4 high. So if we take a look in the controller, see 9, 18, and as you scroll down, you'll have more room. So it's collecting fuel. It's got its own internal buffer as well. So I think we're going to work out all right on this. What do we want to do now? Well, quite simply, let us put the seared faucets into place. I'm going to put the casting table here. The other reason why I put the casting table on the right is because then I can also see the lava in there. And then that casting basin. So we're actually ready to go right now. So I'm going to dump a bunch of sand in here. Lag. Love it. So as this stuff cooks up, you can see each one has its own heat level. This will show what liquids are melted in the thing. This is why we created it taller, so that we could put more in. And I actually could have put 3 more in. So what will I do? I will go down here, and we are going to grab one of those, which is the double compressed sand. One more level. So used to going to that level. You can see the sand in there, right? You know, it's not melted yet, but as soon as it does, we'll be able to see it turn into a liquid. So I'm going to turn this back into sand, and there we go. It's all doing its magic here. So we'll just wait here for a moment until this has melted. And while we're waiting, I have just another little update. I did move. I changed the design of the stairs somewhat, just so that they could be straight. Before they were kind of inching their way ever closer to the middle of the base, just based on height clearance, because it was there were 3 blocks in the middle instead of 1. So I narrowed them down a bit. I don't like the way they look, but considering that they're made out of cobble, that may not necessarily be accurate. So we'll wait until we start replacing these with materials. I'm thinking some kind of maybe clear, maybe like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Oh, and there we go. There we're done. So now you can see there's still those 3 in there that we were working on, but for the most part, we have our glass melted down. So if we take a look in the controller, you see it's all disappeared out of here except for those, actually the 3 just melted. So 36 blocks of molten glass. That's what I love to hear. So what do we do with it? Well, because we're going to create glass blocks, we'll use the casting basin. So I right click here and wait for the lag. And this thing is going to empty out. We're going to get a block of clear glass. It takes a moment, stays liquid, and then turns into a solid. And what that should happen, quickly disappears because I've got that hopper under there. And now I've got a piece of clear glass. So what do I want to do? I want to automate this crap, right? So I'm just going to place a redstone block up here. So what this redstone clock does is that every so often, I'm not sure, I think it's every few ticks, it blinks. Now what this does is this does cause kind of inconsistent fill up, but it will mean I can dump sand in here and walk away. And when I come back, it'll all be molten glass, which is exactly what I want to do. I mean, I'm going to be creating a lot of this. I mean, see these windows? Those are going to be clear glass. See these open spaces? Yeah, those are going to be clear glass. See the open spaces over here? Yeah, those are going to be clear glass. See these? These are going to be tinted clear glass. So, we're gonna have a lot of just a little bit of clear glass. So, so luckily, that's a nice quick way of automating it. And as you can see, we're starting to pile up with clear glass. So I think there's a way of feeding items straight into here too, which I will probably do off camera. So that way what I can do is I can come up here with a barrel full of sand and just have it output it into clear glass. Because, now that this is working, I kind of don't want to touch it anymore because it's working. So, and if we take a look under here, we don't get all stuck. You see this thing's working overtime to keep up. This is kind of just, it's eating all the power, but it is keeping up on the water. It's fine. And eventually what will happen is can we see under there? No, we can't see it. Oh, no, and now I've put no. This tank will eventually fill up, and then we'll kind of catch up. I mean, it's kind of in startup mode right now. We're getting there. But this is kind of a very good first way of creating the automated system. And what you could do as well is if you could use this redstone clock if you were making like a bunch of ingots as well. You could put a bunch of metal in here, have it smelt down, and then have the ingot tray here with the hopper underneath it, and it would just suck out all the ingots. So that way it would, again, automated everything. So I'll probably be moving this clock back and forth as I use it. I'm not really going to automate too much out of the Tinker's Construct Smeltery, but it's nice to have a little bit of automation for times like this when, holy crap, this is going to take forever. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I think this will probably be a pretty quick episode. Certainly a lot more interesting, I hope, than the Applied Energistics ones, where I was sick and a little droney. I apologize for those. But I hope you did enjoy them either way, because it's getting Applied Energistics going is a lot of fun. And, we're almost, a couple more episodes, getting some Thaumcraft stuff going, getting our Wand of Equal Trade, starting to figure out some materials. Oops, see, another set of sand is done. I'm going to dump some more in here. And in a few more episodes, I think we might actually even be ready to decorate this place, get it going, not just beyond the stairs and the stupid berry bushes. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.